All right. We're gonna get started here soon. How's everybody doing so far? Good morning, Mr. Steve. Steve 1000 in the house. Watch out. You gotta watch out for that guy. We are trying something new here. We're streaming over to YouTube. See if that works. I have no idea. I just pressed the button and sent out a tweet. Trying to be a little more active. Um, it will be during the pre-market session, so we're gonna try that, see how that works out. We're gonna get started here shortly in 1 minute. Got my coffee ready, so watch out. Might be some screaming. I don't know why my computer is so close, so slow lately. You know when you know you have to restart your computer, but you don't? That's me right now. All right. Yeah, I have no idea if this live thing is working. Oh, we got a few people watching. Okay, welcome, YouTubers. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, 9:05. I'm gonna get started here. Welcome, everybody. Hope everybody's having a great morning so far. We're gonna go through a few different things. First off, thank you everybody for joining this free live stream on YouTube. We will be streaming the first 25 or so minutes. Just we'll cut it off just before the market opens. We'll leave it up to the members of Spacemonkey Pro. But until then, we're going to go through a few different things here. Actually, it's going to be, I think, pretty valuable for people to see how we do things here behind the scenes. Spacemonkey Pro. We are going to first take a look at what's ahead, and as far as the events, 8:30 US trade deficit, 11. No, I'm looking at the wrong one here. Give me a second here. I got coffee, but I haven't drank my coffee yet. So it might be a little slow. All right, so as far as events, we have initial jobless claims at 8:30, 10 a.m. We have wholesale inventories, and then at 12:05 we have Mr. Tom Barkin, Richmond Fed, speaking out there. I am just making a small little update here to my morning watch list. There we go, all done. So, as far as news and what's going on, it's fairly light today compared to, for example, yesterday. So that's good. As far as earnings, nothing that I'm interested in before market open. After market closes, we have a few that I'm interested in kind of keeping an eye on. One is Affirm. We have Pins, so Pinterest, Net, and then EXPE. So those are the four I'm interested in after market closes. We had a few earnings reports yesterday. Baba, Uber, CVS, Roblox before the open. And then after the close, we had PayPal, Disney, ARM, and Win. And so I believe 3 out of those 4 did really well, gapping up. So let's take a look at those first, and then we'll get through to the ES and the market. PayPal, as you can see, you're gapping down quite significantly here. And as far as PayPal, what you want to watch out for is a break of this 57.39 and then eventually 56.50. If 56.50 breaks, I think we can get a bigger sell down towards this 50. All right. ARM, Beautiful move after market close here on earnings. We are trading just under 100. So obviously this 100 is interesting and worth watching. I'll be kind of keeping track of some of these levels that are found here in the pre-market or the after the pop, after the earnings pop. I usually watch this after hour action for clues, right? So I would just do this off the bat. 95 would be interesting to hold, and then 91.30 or 92 area. So this zone over here would be one that I would like to watch. If we break 91.29, I think there's a pretty good shot we'll start filling the gap below. But let's keep an eye on these kind of these levels over here. You can see the high was around 109. So that's a significant level to keep an eye on. Right? That's that. Moving on. Disney, excellent earnings pop as well. Right? I would love a bit of a dip here into 105 and then perhaps catch something reversal on that. But Disney could be a little tricky on earnings. So I kind of want to give this little space. We'll keep an eye on it, but nothing that I want to chase or anything like that. WYNN, so casino, doing okay, up, but not crazy. So with this one, I would like to see a 100 proper back test, perhaps yesterday's highs and then a reversal. All right, let's move on. Okay, we're gonna move on from this. Let's take a look at ES and do a little recap of the indices from what happened yesterday and the overnight actions. So ES, looking at the daily, I think gives me a better picture of what's happening here. And before the open yesterday, we were gapping up, and we were watching. Well, 2 days ago, we were watching this double inside day, and yesterday was a pretty textbook double inside breakout, testing 50-20. And as far as the overnight action so far in ES, there's not a whole lot of surprises here. We do have an inside candle here so far, and what could become a 111, which is a pattern that we've named, which is basically a big green candle on good volume, preferably a breakout, and you have that second day, a down day with low volume, and then you watch that third day for a break above, right? So that's the 111 breakout. So let's see if that develops. Now, a couple of things that I'm looking for, okay? Overnight lows, always something I look for. So that's around 5,000. I'm going to watch 5,000 today. If it holds, I think we can get a little bit more of we can get a reversal back to the highs, the overnight highs, around 50-16. That 50-20 for me now is this breakout area. 50-20 breaks and 50-30 will come, and then we'll get to 50-50 plus. All right. If we break 49.94, I think we get a little bit of a bigger pullback, and that pullback would be to this zone over here, around 49.80 on ES. Okay. So that's what we're going to look for today. As far as QQQ, yesterday we were watching the 430 to break up. It wasn't a double inside, not a perfect double inside. I think SPX was a better double inside, but a pretty nice kind of hole with two long wicks at the bottom, holding the 9-day moving average, holding that 425, tested multiple times. And then yesterday, we got a little dip under and then a rip back above 430. So that should have been your trigger into a high around 433. My target would be for this move, 434.45 or 435. Above that, we can see 440. Now, this one is still looking pretty okay. We're barely red here, so I'll be curious to see what happens at the open. It is uncertain at the least here. It is at this point we're at that we're at that point in the market now where we are breaking out. So you just have to trust the price and follow the price. If we do get a previous day break, that could be a day 2 continuation move, right? Because although we are pretty, I'm not going to say extended because we did some proper consolidation here with a really nice dip that moved back up higher. So I do think we can move to 440. But it's always important the day after a breakout to check for a failed breakout, okay? So that's what we're looking for today. IWM, I'm really not going to get through it too much, or we're not going to talk too much about it, other than there's a whole lot more work to be done here. All right, so I'm not going to talk too much more about that. It's not interesting. It's a waste of your time. SMH, I think this 200 is a magnet now. We started the breakout yesterday above this 195.71 that I have, and we're on our way to 200. So let's see if we get continued strength with SMH. Now we do have NVIDIA and a semi that it will report, I believe, next week, or no, 2 weeks, on the 21st of February. So well worth watching SMH and see how that acts into that. Speaking on NVIDIA, we'll get to NVIDIA. First, we're going to get through some of the bigger names. Now, a big watch for me, and this is probably what you guys are interested in, is this Microsoft. All right, Microsoft. What I'm liking about Microsoft is that it's been in an uptrend, a clear uptrend, and you get the first check back into the 9-day moving average. All right, so with that first check back into the 9-day moving average failed, meaning we pushed below and then recovered it, and we're pushing higher, and then another check back into the 9. And notice how this has a higher low here on the daily. So it just tells me that the buyers are stepping in here. So this is not a surprise to me, this break yesterday. Now, for continuation, and this was, it closed near the highs. It showed real strength yesterday. We traded yesterday as well. Watch this 415.32. Why is it important? Well, it's the high from that day after its earnings, right? You remember how it moved, it opened up, pushed higher, and then got ripped back all the way back down to new low. So, Microsoft, if you like it, 415.32 breaks, I would look at 1750 calls. Let me double check that, because I just realized that Microsoft might not have those strikes anymore. They don't. So you're looking at 420 calls or 415 in the money. So if that's the case, I would look for next week calls, and I would look at 420 calls is something I'm curious about 415. Now, a second play for this one would be a dip into 409.16 or 410 area, an area which we broke out of yesterday, have yet to backtest. So watch that. And if that happens, I would be more enticed to go with calls if it's acting relatively strong. All right, so yesterday's high to 410. Watch that zone for reversal. Microsoft next week calls, I'm interested in on that one. All right, so that's that. That is my watch of the day, actually. Just keep track of that. Apple was a little trickier yesterday. All right, we got 10 more minutes here on this free stream here. Apple tested the 50-day moving average and found some sellers. Now, the second day after that happens, you want to see buyers stepping in and pushing this one back up, right? So either today or tomorrow, watch for a break above with some volume. You can see the sell-off yesterday was on a little bit of an uptick in volume here. So, you have to be careful. It's really not doing much here. It's flat pre-market. So it might need a little more work. But I truly believe Apple is setting up for a move towards 200 in the next month or so, if the market allows. All right. Amazon is another one that I'm liking. Okay. Amazon, I'm liking a lot. What I'm liking about Amazon is this, what looks like a consolidation after an incredible earnings move. You have multiple days of bears trying to push price below 169 and failing. Why is that important? Right? The open on earnings was 169.19, right? And they're yet to push price below that open. I do have my my support, what was resistance here. This was here before the earnings, but so you have these stars aligning for this area, 169. You could have been buying 169 multiple times and doing pretty okay. Now, a break above a hold of 169 early or 170 break higher. I think we could test yesterday's highs. and then we can test this 172.50, which is the earnings report high from February, right? I mean, just a few days ago. I add labels to my resistances, so it gives me some context around what they are. Let's say if in 2025, I'm looking back like, that should 24. Look at me, wrong year. There we go. All right, so above 172.50, if you want to trade it, I think that's your best trade here. A break above 172.50. Might need a few days, but you know, with these names like Amazon, Meta, that have reported and done really well gapping up, they just need time to work through their stuff, right? The battle has to go, it has to happen, and then after that, I think you know, usually you get either a gap fill or a push higher. When you get a gap up like this, usually on a good report, it's up to the bulls to push price higher, right? The ball's in their kind of on their side. If they drop the ball, you'll have bears trying to step in and push it lower. So Meta, I really liked the action yesterday. I would be curious to watch this one 472 today. It's been a price which has capped it a couple times here, so I would watch that. I would watch 475 calls above 472 today. All right. Now everybody's, you know, thinking, okay, what about Nvidia? What about Nvidia? Nvidia's great. You know, I'm in some 750 calls from all the way down here at 666. All right. We bought 666. Crazy, but it's been working out for us beautifully. We're still in I think 2/5 of a full position, or for me, what was a double position? So it's all about this 700. All right. Think about 500. That's what this 700 is, I think. And the reason for that is that we have earnings coming. So it's going to be a little tricky, but with the momentum it has, with the eyes it has on it, I think this one will do pretty well. Okay, so if we break 700 today, I think we can move towards that 707, 717.37, and then 734. All right, SMCI, right? Not too unlike NVIDIA. Yesterday was the first day I kind of noticed a little bit of a disconnect between these two when it comes to the price action. A few earnings reports ago, there was a clear connection between these two. And then for a little while, a couple months, there was a disconnect. And then, you know, last few weeks, there's been more of a connection between these two due to their, you know, due to SMCI's beautiful earnings report. And yesterday, there were some hints on a little bit more of a kind of laggard when it comes to SMCI, which is horrible to say because it's up, you know, a lot as of late. But you know, that's just one little kind of wrinkle in this whole story that I'm paying attention to as we move on. All right, now let me keep going through my list here. Yesterday was, you know, all about cyber for me. I think cyber had an incredible day after FTNT had earnings. FTNT didn't do that well yesterday, but that's when crowd got finally pushed out of this area here, 307 into 320. We're trading right below here. So when it does something like this, you either look for a flag, some sort of pennant consolidation. You obviously watch for a pullback, so failed breakdown, but breakout. But you also watch for a day two continuation, right? So watch for that day two continuation at about above 321, targeting 324. PANW was another one that did really well. Another one that we were watching yesterday. And then the one I'm curious and interested in, and I did some writing on it yesterday on my Twitter, and I've shared it with the team here, is this Zscaler, right? It's within the same sector. I mean, look at this chart. And what I like about this chart is simple. What I like about this is that there was a headline that one of their executives left, and you got this big down candle over here that quickly got bought up, right? So when that happens, I call it, short fuel. It's in a range. It finally breaks down the range. You have shorts piling in, and then bulls step in and push prices higher back into the range, and then you get a hammer, right? Basically, another sign of strength. What happens? You have shorts buying, covering their positions. You have buyers becoming more confident in this name and pushing. And then you have, the FOMO moment, which I call it, basically the FOMO crowd, the options crowd, piling in as well. And so that's when you get a bigger move higher. My target would be 250 earnings in a couple weeks here. All right, so we'll watch that, but it's definitely interesting the what's happening here in this chart. It's a bit of a trickier name, a little wider spreads, but one to keep an eye on. Okay, so that's that. Let's take a look here. Snow. Snow is looking nice. After hours have popped on ARM earnings, and yeah, just watch that 220.50, and I think this one could break up. All right, we're gonna go through a few different other ones. We have Tesla. Tesla is starting to show a little more life here. I think there's very little of a trade here, at least quality trade, under 207. Yes, it's all the way up here. If we recover 207, then all of these people will be offsides. You'll have huge momentum pushing this one back to 230. But before that, you just have to watch this gap. So watch this gap. Watch 196. 196 could run or magnet pretty quickly into 200. All right. So, we'll watch that. Another one I'm liking is this one here. And I'm giving everybody a 1.5 minute warning here. We're going to shut off the stream so we can focus on the trading at hand here. Low, I'm watching this 221 to hold and then push higher. All right. Shop, I thought was really strong yesterday. It does have earnings coming up next week, but finally breaking out of this Pearl. If you look for this back test, I think that's your trade right there. A back test of this 83, 84 area, and a reversal back higher. Okay, so watch that. Okay, it's just a back test of support. All right, for everybody that joined us on YouTube, thank you so much. We're gonna try to do this every day. All right, I'm starting it today, and just keep an eye on it. Okay, and if you're interested, just join us, and you'll hear my beautiful voice all day long, and I might even do some singing for you. Thank you so much.